We're going to go over 5 steps on how to fingerprint somebody in Florida, how to build a fingerprinting business in Florida, and how to market a fingerprinting business in Florida. Fingerprinting business in Florida, right? Everybody asks me, 1,000 people say, oh, I'm in Florida, Florida's the best state. Yes, it is the best state, but you can't screw it up. You need to know exactly what to say to the customers when they ask you, oh, excuse me, Mr. Business Owner, do you offer fingerprinting? Why? Yes, I do, but I have no idea how to do it. Well, that's what we're going to learn today. Step 1 is find out the reason why somebody's going to get fingerprinting. This starts with any fingerprinting service, whether you're in Florida, Wyoming, Oklahoma, Arizona, New York, Texas, Chicago, wherever, it doesn't matter. But for Florida, this is very important. So you need to find out the reason, right? And I know everybody loves my handwriting in every single video.
Fingerprinting customer.
Oh, a customer right now. Hello, Southside Fingerprinting. Oh, yeah, okay. You need to get fingerprinted? You have no idea why, right? Okay, all right, excellent. Somebody just told you to come to some type of live scan location? Okay, all right, yeah, excellent. Well, come on down. We'll just figure it out. I'll charge you a whole bunch of money. You'll be really mad. You'll give us a 1-star review. All right, cool. Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. See you later. No, don't do that. You need to find out the reason. If somebody comes to you and they say, I need to get fingerprinted for a state background check for Florida because I'm going to become a home health aide or I'm going to be working as a nanny at a daycare, right? Because if somebody comes to you and says, oh, I need an FBI background check, I'm traveling to Spain, I need a work visa, that's clearly not a state background check for Florida. And let me tell you something about fingerprinting. People don't know anything about what they need. Number 2 is going to be an ORI. That's an R, by the way, in case you didn't know. So an ORI number is what's attached to the state service. And the way you find that is you do it 2 ways. You either ask the customer or you visit the FDLE link, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement link, where you can search up an ORI number, right? But the customer has to have it. And usually the customer will always have it because when they go to get a state background check, they're doing it for employment. So the way that they're even finding out that they need this fingerprinting appointment in the first place is they go to apply for a job at XYZ daycare company. Now the HR manager, the compliance director is going to tell them, listen, you need to go get fingerprinted. Here's your ORI number. Give this ORI number to the fingerprinting agency that you're visiting, right? Now, the next step is once you know the ORI number, you need to find out, and I'm going to change the color of my marker, you need to find out the price of the state fee because every ORI number comes with a state fee. And the reason this is so important is because if you charge somebody $50 for a fingerprinting appointment, right? But the state fee is $45. Well, congratulations, you made $5. You're a terrible business owner and you will go out of business and die, right? We don't want that to happen, which is why we're making the video. So you need to find out the state fee, which is attached to it. Typically, they range from like $15 to some of them even $40. So what you do is you adjust your price accordingly based on the ORI fee. And that's the state fee by the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. So I know that's a little bit complex, but after you find out the reason of why they need to get fingerprinted, you need to ask Mr. or Mrs. Customer, what is your ORI number? Because the next question that they're going to ask you is, how much is this going to cost me? Oh, I need to get fingerprinted. How much is it going to cost? Oh my God, $80, highway robbery. It's a 15-minute appointment, right? It's probably why a lot of you are watching this video, because you've been fingerprinted by an agency, and it cost you $70, and it took that business owner 10 minutes to do. Very lucrative business. Again, why you're watching the video. So always found out the price. That's what's going to help you adjust for the inflation of what you charge the customer based on the fee of that ORI. So that's step number 2, find out the ORI number. All right, so step number 3 is going to be the actual appointment. So this is where it's fun, right? This is where you're actually operating your business. So the appointment. Now, what I'm going to say is you almost always absolutely have to offer live scan services for the state of Florida because the competition is so rough out there because Florida is an open state. You can really open up a fingerprinting business tomorrow if you could. We've done it. Our partners do it in Florida all the time. So you need to offer live scan because that's the cutting edge of what everybody's doing. If you don't, you're never going to survive. So you need to offer live scan. Once you get the live scan device, you need some software attached to it, and that software has to have the ability to transmit fingerprint records electronically from the device to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. Let's go over an example, right? Let's go back to XYZ Daycare Agency. So Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, they want to become daycare workers. They apply, they get an ORI number from the HR manager, and they say, go get fingerprinted. They go down the block, they go to your business, they get fingerprinted. You charge them $85. They're all happy. You service the customer. You have profit in your bank account. You're happy. But this is what happens behind the scenes. That fingerprint record goes from the live scan device to the FDLE. The FDLE runs the state background check, takes the results, sends it to the portal of XYZ daycare agency. The HR manager is going to sit there on the computer. They're going to look up Mr. and Mrs. Johnson. They're going to say, okay, Mr. Johnson checks out, Mrs. Johnson checks out, and that's the entire process in a nutshell. Now, when you think about how many people in Florida need to get fingerprinted, real estate agents is a big one, right? Because a lot of real estate gets sold in Florida. Especially nowadays, everybody's moving there. A lot of people moving down, so fingerprinting services are going way up, right? So that's a good thing. Real estate agents, mortgage brokers, daycares, home health aides. Home health aides is a big one because the elderly population in Florida is huge. A lot of like senior care agencies where all these people need to get fingerprinted. Then there's people who work in investment firms who need to get fingerprinted. The sky's the limit with fingerprinting services in Florida. It really is the mecca to be able to build a business. You can do it in the rest of the United States, but Florida really is the sweet spot, and that's why the appointment is going to be a very important part of this process. Step number 4 is going to be the follow-up / marketing, right? This is my favorite. Well, the follow-up's not my favorite. The marketing's my favorite, but the follow-up is very important. Follow-up, very easy. Whenever you're operating a business, grab an email from your customer, whether that's through the form fill out on your website or whether that's in person. Grab an email from them, and then at the end of the month, what you do is take all your customers and you email them a blast email, and you say, hey, thank you for visiting XYZ Fingerprinting Company. Please fill out our Google review form, because reviews on Google are what's going to drive you the most organic search traffic through the Google Maps listing. So that's very, very important. Definitely reviews, follow up with your customers, hugely important. Now we're going to get into the marketing aspect of it. So marketing Florida state background checks is a little tricky, right? So if you're doing Google ads, the two biggest keywords out there are going to be Florida background checks, obviously, and then FDLE fingerprinting. That's another big one. So FDLE stands for the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. Fingerprinting is, obviously self-explanatory. So FDLE fingerprinting, that's one of the keywords. Florida background checks is another keyword. Now, you are going to get a lot of people who go on their laptop and just type in fingerprinting, right? Which brings me to another point that I actually wasn't going to mention, but now I am, is that your live scan device needs to have the functionality to transmit to different agencies and different departments. So ones that I'll list off, other than Florida, just so for your knowledge, is going to be the FBI, FINRA, which is the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority. They run background checks on all, usually investment firms, anybody that works in the banking industry. Florida obviously is one of them. And then if you have the technology to be able to take the fingerprint record and print it on a little card like this, that's even better. That's a win-win, because then you can do ink fingerprinting as well without actually rolling the ink, so that's good as well. But the marketing is really going to be those two keywords, FDLE fingerprinting, Florida background checks, and then just the overall keyword of fingerprinting in general. Market your business towards those. You'll get a lot of FDLE appointments. Make sure you get the ORI number. You'll be able to charge them accordingly. You have a very profitable business. There's actually an extra step, so it's going to be step number 5. And that's, press the like button, please. Helps me out in the YouTube algorithm. Gives me motivation to make more videos. I know this is a video that I've posted in the last 3 weeks. You all have been salivating at the mouth for more videos, so you hit the like button. It's going to boost me up in the algorithm. I'm going to have more fans. I'm going to feel really appreciated, so I would appreciate it.